The TCO Performance Center was electric this weekend as the Minnesota Vikings kicked off their 2025 rookie minicamp, a 3-day grind where dreams meet reality. 51 players stepped onto the field, each hungry to prove they belong in the NFL. From our 5 draft picks to a whopping 20 undrafted free agents, tryout players, and a few second-year guys looking to break through, this was a showcase of raw talent and relentless ambition. What makes this minicamp so thrilling is the diversity of stories. You've got guys like Donovan Jackson, our first-round offensive lineman from Ohio State, anchoring the trenches with his 6'4", 320-pound frame. Then there's Max Brosmer, the local hero from Minnesota, who signed as an undrafted free agent with a $250,000 guaranteed deal. Talk about belief in his arm. These players aren't just names. They're the future of our franchise, and this weekend was their first chance to shine. So what's the big question? Why wasn't J.J. McCarthy, our 2024 first-round quarterback, out there? Eligible or not, his absence raises eyebrows. Is he already locked in as QB1? Or are the Vikings playing chess with their roster? Stick with me, Vikings fans, as we dive into the draft picks, UDFAs, tryouts, and what this all means for 2025. Let's get to it. Our 5 draft picks were the headliners at Rookie Minicamp, and let me tell you, they did not disappoint. Start with Donovan Jackson, selected 24th overall. This Ohio State guard is a mauler with 34 starts in the Big Ten and a knack for pancaking defenders. Watching him move in drills, you can see why GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah bet big on protecting our quarterback, whether it's McCarthy or someone else. Then there's Ty Felton, our third-round wide receiver from Maryland. This kid's a 6'2" speedster who racked up 1,036 receiving yards in 2024. His hands were glue in minicamp, snagging everything thrown his way. Pair him with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, and our passing game could be downright scary. Don't sleep on Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, Kobe King, or Gavin Bartholomew either. Each brought their own flavor, from relentless pass rushing to physicality in the trenches. Here's where it gets spicy. These rookies aren't just fighting for roster spots. They're setting the tone for a Vikings squad that went 14-3 last season. Can Jackson solidify the O-line? Will Felton emerge as WR3? Drop your thoughts in the comments, Skull Nation. What's your take on our draft class? Now, let's talk about the unsung heroes, our 20 undrafted free agents. These guys are the heart and soul of the Vikings roster-building strategy. And this year's class is stacked. Leading the pack is Max Brosmer, the former Gophers QB who stayed home with a juicy UDFA deal. His 2,828 passing yards in 2024 and 137.2 passer rating scream potential. Could he be QB3 behind McCarthy and Sam Howell? Then you've got offensive linemen like Logan Brown from Kansas, who analysts like Thor Nystrom called a top 100 talent who somehow went undrafted. At 6'6", 320 pounds, he's a mountain with nimble feet. Add in playmakers like Silas Bolden, a shifty slot receiver from Texas, and linebackers like Chaz Chambliss from Georgia. And this UDFA group is dripping with upside. 6 UDFAs made the roster over the last 3 years. Think Ivan Pace Jr. vibes. The question is, who's this year's diamond in the rough? Brosmer's got the hometown hype, but I'm keeping my eye on Brown for that O-line depth. Vikings fans, who's your UDFA to watch? Hit the comments and let's debate. The tryout players, 20 of them, brought a whole new level of grit to minicamp. These are the ultimate underdogs, guys who didn't get drafted or signed but still got an invite to show their stuff. Take Zach Zabrowski, a quarterback from Central Missouri, who threw for 3,598 yards in Division II last season. Or Hope Adebayo, a running back from St. Thomas right here in Minnesota, fighting to make the roster in his backyard. Then there's Chico Bennett Jr., an outside linebacker from Virginia with a relentless motor. At 6'4", 252 pounds, he's got the size and speed to turn heads in Brian Flores' aggressive defense. Tryout players face long odds. Only a handful make it past minicamp, but the Vikings have a knack for finding gems. Remember Ryan Wright, our punter who started as a UDFA? What's the vibe here? These tryout guys are playing with nothing to lose, and that raw hunger could shake up the depth chart. Which tryout player are you rooting for, Skull Nation? And do you think any of them can crack the 53-man roster? Let me know below. Don't overlook the 6 second-year players who joined the minicamp, all still chasing their first NFL snap. Guys like Bubba Bolden, a safety from Miami, and Jeshaun Jones, a wide receiver from Maryland, are itching to prove they belong. Bolden, who signed with the Vikings in March after stints in the UFL, brings a 6'3", 204-pound frame and a chip on his shoulder after going undrafted in 2022. Xavier Scott, a running back from Maine, and Max Tooley, a linebacker from BYU, also stood out. Scott's speed and versatility could make him a dark horse for RB3, especially with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason leading the backfield. These players aren't rookies anymore, but they're still fighting for their NFL lives, and minicamp was their stage to shine. Here's the big question. Can any of these second-year guys follow in the footsteps of Ivan Pace Jr. or Taki Taimani and become contributors? Or are they just camp bodies? Vikings fans, drop your predictions in the comments. Who's breaking out in 2025? Let's circle back to the J.J. McCarthy mystery. Our 2024 first-round pick, the guy who's supposed to be the face of the franchise, skipped rookie minicamp despite being technically eligible. Why? The word from TCO is that McCarthy already got his rookie camp last year and is now chilling with the veterans, getting OTAs ready. At 22, with a 14-3 season under his belt, maybe he's earned it. But let's be real, Performance Center was electric this weekend as the Minnesota Vikings kicked off their 2025 rookie minicamp completion rate, a 3-day grind, 991 yards in 21 players at Michigan showed he's got the tools, each hungry to prove they belong in the NFL. Debut was solid. From our 5 draft picks, is this the Vikings saying 20 undrafted JJ's our guy? Tryout players, no need for extra reps, and a few second-year guys are they protecting him from unnecessary? This was a showcase of raw talent. Either way, it's ambition. A bold statement. What makes this minicamp so thrilling is the diversity. Is McCarthy's absence a sign he's got guys like Donovan Jackson, or should he have been first-round defensive lineman from Ohio State? Hit the comments, anchoring the trenches with his 6'4". The offensive line was the focal point at minicamp. Then there's Max Brosmer, and for good reason. The local hero with Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill as an undrafted free agent with a $250,000 guarantee. Jackson's arrival is a game changer in his arm. But don't sleep on UDFA's like Logan Brown, they're the future of our franchise. And this weekend in particular was a steal. Analysts had him as a mid-round talent, and he's already turning heads with J.J. McCarthy, our 2024 first-round keep McCarthy upright and open lanes for eligible Aaron Jones, or not. His absence raises eyebrows. Is he already locked in as QB1 last season, or are Jones the Vikings ran for a career-high 1,121 Stick with me, Vikings fans, as we dive Jordan into the draft added via UDFA's tryouts. The run game is what this all means for 2025. The O-line's performance at minicamp showed promise. Our 5 draft picks were the headliners at rookie minicamp pass rushers in drills. And let me tell you, here's the deal. They did not disappoint. A strong O-line could make Donovan Jackson our 2025 selected season. 24th Can these overall. Rookies and UDFA's guard with the Mauler with 34 Vikings starts fans, in the Big Ten, are you hyped and a knack for pancaking defenders? Drop your thoughts below and let's talk trenches. You can see why GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah Brian Flores' unit is looking downright nasty, whether it's McCarthy or someone else. Only added fuel then there's to the Ty fire. Felton, Tyrion Ingram third-round wide receiver, 5th-round defensive lineman this from Georgia. This kid's a 6'2" speedster who racked up 1,036 receiving yards in 2024. Pair him with his hands were glue like Tyler Batty and Chaz Chambliss, snagging everything. And you've got a pass rush pipeline. Pair him with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. The secondary got a boost, and our passing game with UDFA's Keenan Garber. Don't sleep on Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, Kobe King, corner or Gavin Bartholomew. Has the length brought their own flavor for his aggressive from relentless pass rushing to physicality. Our defense ranked number 2. Here's where it gets spicy, and these new rookies aren't just fighting for roster spots. Minicamp drills showed the tone for a Viking squad that went 14 up to 3 last season, hitting hard. Can Jackson solidify the O-line for this defense? Will Felton could Ingram Dawkins or Vaughn be the next breakout star like Andrew Van Ginkel? Skull Nation, what's your take on our defensive rookie to watch? Now let's talk about the unsung heroes. Special teams can't be ignored. Free agents, and the Vikings are the heart and soul of the Vikings roster building strategy. An Australian-born punter from Auburn is stacked. Joined as leading the pack is Max through the NFL's international former Gophers QB who stayed home. His booming leg was on display at minicamp. His 2,848 passing yards per punt in 2024 And
then there's
137
kicker
point
Mitch
Jeter
Jeter
from
from
Notre
Notre
Dame,
Dame potential,
who went 15
Could he be
QB3 behind
18 on
McCarthy
field
and
goals
Sam Howell
in 2024?
Then you've got offensive
Ryan Wright,
linemen like
our
Logan
incumbent
Brown
punter,
from Kansas,
re-signed
who
for
analysts like Thor
$1.75
Nystrom
million,
called a top 100 talent,
but his
who somehow
33rd
went
ranking in
undrafted.
punts
Inside
at
the
6
10-yard
foot
line
6,
has the Vikings
320
options.
pounds.
He's a
Chapman
mountain
could push
with
him.
nimble feet.
And Jeter's
Add in
tryout
playmakers
suggests
like Silas
competition
Bolden,
at kicker.
a shifty
Special
slot
teams won
receiver
us
from
games
Texas
last year,
and
and
linebackers like
Chaz
Chaz
Chambliss
and
from
these
Georgia.
new guys want in.
And this
What's your
UDFA
take,
group
Vikings
is dripping
fans?
with upside.
Can Chapman
Six
or Jeter
UDFAs
steal
made
a
the
roster
roster
spot?
over the last 3
And how
years.
crucial is special
Think
teams
Ivan
to
Pace
our
Jr.
Super Bowl
vibes.
hopes?
The question
Drop
is,
your thoughts in the
who's
comments
this year's
and let's
diamond
keep the
in the
convo
rough?
going. Brosmer's
got
got
the
the
hometown
hometown
hype,
hype. The
but I'm
vibe
keeping
at
my
TCO
eye
was
on
clear.
Brown for that O-line
The
depth.
2025
Vikings fans,
are building
who's your
something
UDFA
special.
to watch?
From draft picks
Hit
like
the
Donovan
comments
Jackson
and
and
let's
Ty
debate.
Felton to
The tryout
UDFAs like
players,
Max
20
Brosmer
of
and
them,
Logan Brown, brought a whole
this
new
rookie
level
class
of grit
has
to
depth,
minicamp. Talent,
These are the
and heart.
ultimate underdogs.
Add in tryout players
guys
and
who didn't
second-year
get
guys
drafted
fighting for their
signed,
shot,
but still got an
and you've got a
invite to show
roster
their
that's
stuff.
hungry to keep
Take
our
Zach
14-3 momentum
a
rolling.
quarterback from
The
Central
big picture,
Missouri,
Quincy
threw
Adolfo
for
Mensa and Kevin O'Connell are playing the long game
in Division II
blending
last season.
high-end talent
Or
with
Hope
undervalued
Adebayo,
gems. A running
with
back
J.J.
from
McCarthy
St. Thomas
poised
right
to
here
lead,
in Minnesota,
a beefed-up
fighting
O-line,
to make the roster
and a
in his
defense
backyard.
that's reloading.
Then there's
the
Chico
Vikings
Bennett
are gearing
Jr.,
up for a deep
an
playoff
outside
run.
linebacker from
But the
Virginia
work's just
with
beginning.
a relentless
OTAs
motor.
and training
At
camp
6'4",
will separate the roster
252
pounds.
pounds.
Skull Nation.
He's got the size and
This
speed
is our
to
time.
turn heads in
Who's
Brian
your breakout
Flores'
star
aggressive
from
defense.
Minicamp?
Tryout
What's got you
players
most
face
hyped
long
for
odds.
2025?
Only a handful make it
Smash
past
that
minicamp.
like button,
But the
drop a
Vikings have a
comment,
knack for finding
subscribe.
gems.
Remember
and share
Ryan
this with
Wright,
every Vikings
our
fan
punter
you know.
who started
Let's keep
as a
the purple
UDFA.
and gold pride
What's
alive.
the vibe here?
Skull
These
Vikings.
tryout guys are playing with nothing to lose, and that raw hunger could shake up the depth chart. Which tryout player are you rooting for, Skull Nation? And do you think any of them can crack the 53-man roster? Let me know below. Don't overlook the 6 second-year players who joined the minicamp, all still chasing their first NFL snap. Guys like Bubba Bolden, a safety from Miami, and Jeshaun Jones, a wide receiver from Maryland, are itching to prove they belong. Bolden, who signed with the Vikings in March after stints in the UFL, brings a 6'3", 204-pound frame and a chip on his shoulder after going undrafted in 2022. Xavier Scott, a running back from Maine, and Max Tooley, a linebacker from BYU, also stood out. Scott's speed and versatility could make him a dark horse for RB3, especially with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason leading the backfield. These players aren't rookies anymore, but they're still fighting for their NFL lives, and minicamp was their stage to shine. Here's the big question. Can any of these second-year guys follow in the footsteps of Ivan Pace Jr. or Taki Taimani and become contributors? Or are they just camp bodies? Vikings fans, drop your predictions in the comments. Who's breaking out in 2025? Let's circle back to the J.J. McCarthy mystery. Our 2024 first-round pick, the guy who's supposed to be the face of the franchise, skipped rookie minicamp despite being technically eligible. Why? The word from TCO is that McCarthy already got his rookie camp last year and is now chilling with the veterans, getting OTAs ready. At 22, with a 14-3 season under his belt, maybe he's earned it.